Hi, my name is Margot Apostolos. I play Tokat the Ewok in Return of the Jedi, and you are watching the virtual canteen.
That was for you, Mike.
Margot. That's pretty cool. That's my friend Margot. I like that.
We saw it just last time at Disneyland. Just bumped
Yep.
into her.
That's cool.
My friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are the Jedi Archives. We review comic books. If you're new to the program, my name is Jonathan.
I'm Bryce.
And I am Mike. And today we're going to be reviewing the 4 issues of Echoes of Fear
With Mr. Sinister.
Sinister. Starting with
just
like
issue number 1.
Darth
Check this out.
Ravi.
This is pretty awesome.
It's a very cool cover. It's very cool.
We've got a Sith vampire. Look at that. Pretty cool. This is the first issue, so we're going to go over all 4 issues. Go over this entire arc. These are by
go over all the
George Mann.
covers. Yeah.
All the covers. We're going to give you all the covers today. Here's the first one. And this is a century before the Acolyte. Echoes of Fear. George Mann. Great artwork, you guys. You're in for a treat. Some of the best
this
artwork.
is some of the best artwork I've seen.
For real.
It is really, they really upped the game.
I like the page choice too. It wasn't like those glossy pages like in the annual. This one was like very matte finished, so it was pretty cool.
But check this out. Really good art. This is the first issue.
One of my favorite covers of most of the High Republic. It is a clean cover. Yeah.
That's issue 1. Here's issue number 2. Love this guy.
Vin, or was that his name?
Barnabas Vim.
Vim.
Yeah.
Barnabas Vim.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
Master
what
Vim.
story. I'm trying to remember what else he was in, because obviously they say it's the return of Barnabas Vim, and I'm trying to remember what other piece of writing he was in.
I don't know, but whatever he's in, I'm there for it. I'm thirsty.
His lightsaber's so big.
So thick. Love it.
So long.
So long.
You never.
All right,
I gotta
something.
go. I'm moist.
There we go.
Here we go. Look at that one. Here's the 3rd issue.
Yeah,
So this was, they went back in
Pathfinders in
time,
Peril.
right? They're kind of jumping around a little bit. This was like the Pathfinders, right?
Well, they went back in
This is right
time.
there.
Yeah.
They went back in time on all of these.
Well, they're
they're
all
all
back in time.
Yeah, because
All of these are
every single one
back in time.
except
for the last issue.
The holocron. And I love how they're using the holocron, and it looks exactly like the Galaxy's Edge one.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So all of these are like backstory, because you're looking at the holocrons.
Yep, until the
we
fourth
get
one and the
to
4th one. Yep.
Final issue, which is this one. This is
Wreath.
present time, which is still really back in time.
Yep.
Wreath. The Rod of
No
Ages.
variants,
Under.
huh? Yeah.
So really, even though this is like a century before the Acolyte, the other ones are like 2 centuries before, right? Because they're like way back.
Well, I think the
yeah,
first story is even longer, like thousands.
Yeah, I think the first story goes back quite a ways.
Way
kind
back,
of
right?
slowly brings it up, and then because the Pathfinder teams would have been phase 2.
Phase 2, yeah. I just didn't know where Vim's timeline was. I was kind of confused on his.
Vim's was a little bit before that, because I swear in the books he might have been in a phase 2 book. I'm trying to remember exactly where he was at, but I remember and maybe it was in another comic. I can't remember. But I remember him being on the planet that they talked to him about being on that planet with all the beautiful things. I thought that was also part of that story was in either
I remember
he had no book.
I remember he had no shirt on. I just remember he had no shirt on.
Okay, so then it was a comic. It was a comic, and it might have been
Yeah,
the
it was a
main
comic.
Marvel
He had
book.
no shirt on and he was asleep. And he
But
was like, he
that might
woke
have been
up and he had that hairy chest.
that was the mainline Marvel book, or
Remember?
it was one of those miniseries.
That's
Yeah, it was
Vildar
a
Mac.
Phase One
You're
comic
getting your
book.
Vildar Mac.
Phase Two. No. Nope. I remember. No,
No,
I
no,
remember
it was
this.
Barnabas.
It was
It was
Phase
Barnabas
Two.
Vim.
It was Phase Two,
Phase 2. It was
and
Phase 2
it was
Barnabas
a
Vim.
it was a Marvel. It was the Marvel comic, but I don't remember if it was the mainline comic or
But it
if
was
it
Barnabas.
was. Yeah, it definitely was Barnabas Vim. I remember the character when they said return.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but I was having trouble remembering. It was a Phase Two Marvel comic.
Yeah. Vildar Mac was also had his shirt off when they thought he was
Yeah.
dead.
I
That-
thought he
that
was the
was-
one laying in bed that with his all hairy.
Yeah, he was in
No.
bed because he was awake.
Nothing.
Remember? That was when he went to get the shards. Remember? Barnabas, when he went to get the shards.
Yeah.
He went to the island
Hmm.
with that woman.
I'm
that
getting
was...
my shirtless Jedi confused.
They all look the same to you, right? Not to
Yeah.
me. I can tell my shirtless Jedi apart like that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I gotta figure out what that other publication was that's gonna bother me, but
So
I do remember
here we
it
go.
was.
So let's get into this. So Star Wars: The High Republic comic review, Echoes of Fear, 4 comic book miniseries.
I got his timeline. His timeline is 382 before the Battle of Yavin. So this is like 100 years before Pathfinders. So this is quite a bit before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the first one is called Hunting the Echo Stones by George Mann, and it revolves around Reith Silas and Amadeo Azazo. They're searching the Jedi archives for information about the Echo Stones, hoping to learn about the Echo Stones and try to create the Rod of Seasons because they're trying to control the Nameless, remember?
Oh, he was in Quest of the Jedi. That one shot, Phase 2
Yes.
one shot with Claudia Gray. That's what it
Mhm.
was. Dang,
And
that was almost 2 years to the date that came out. That book.
mhm.
Wow.
And in this first issue, they discover the holocron that's telling the tale of the ancient Sith Darth Ravi, who was consumed by the Echo Stone. I mean, literally consumed.
Yeah, he just
Yeah, I like this one because the Echo Stones almost like have an Infinity Stone aura,
Mhm.
right? Like you have to be of a certain conviction to even be able to hold one. Like you have to be of pure intent, I believe was the actual like phrase they said. And that's kind of like what Thanos was, right? Like it wasn't just that, but Thanos had pure intent. Like what he was going to use the stones for never like deferred he was never deterred from that. Like I'm going to get them and then I'm going to snap my fingers and I'm going to correct the universe. That's what I'm going to do. Like he had pure intent. And that's kind of how I feel like these Echo Stones are too. Like your intent has to be pure or it will consume you. Just like we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy with the one girl that grabs the Power Stone and she's consumed by it because
yeah.
Right. And that happens to Ravi. He gets consumed like
I mean, the art in this book is
very good.
top notch. Top notch.
tattoo worthy. I mean, it is good. The colors
Yeah.
and the waves, like it's top tier. I mean, going to this one is definitely it's probably one of my favorite Harry Potter books. Period. It's just this one right here because the colors and the story did a really good job.
Yeah, the line work, the artwork is just spectacular. And then we move on to the second one, where called The Mystery of Master Vim. And in this one, Jedi Knight Reith Silas and Jedi Padawan Amadeo Azazo delve deeper into the history of the Echo Stones. And in doing so, they unearth the epic tale of Jedi Master Barnabas Vim and his Padawan Vix Phonic as they try to recover an Echo Stone from the hands of the Jedi Wayfinder, who risks being seduced by the Force amplifying power.
Yep.
Now, and in this one, The Mystery of Master Vim, Reith and Amadeo continue exploring the holocrons, and they learn more about the Echo Stones. And this time they learn about the origins, about how they shattered the Echo Stone. Remember on that island? And where
Yeah.
that woman was being She was using the power, but she didn't realize how it was overtaking her and corrupting her. Um, and they learn about an old friend of Master Vim's, and who has garnered the Echo Stone for himself, and he's harnessing its power, right? And he seeks it and his friend to retrieve it. And just before he is never seen or heard from again. That was cool.
Well, and I thought like the end of it was kind of cool. Is like he actually made it to the planet, which
Mhm.
like atmospheric interference, whatever you want to call it. He was no longer able to communicate. So
Yep. And it was kind of
Let's
like
put
when Luke makes it to Yavin, or I mean, to not to Yavin,
Dagobah.
to Dagobah, because there's a lot of interference to get to Dagobah. And his friend was expecting him too.
yeah,
And is it Planet X they're on?
no. So that's the funny thing is like he and prior to this comic, Barnabas and because this is in Quest of the Jedi, is that both Barnabas and Lie were on the planet they mentioned in here, the Ancord. And that's where I believe he leaves her, is at that planet, and then he goes and searches. So I think his timeline is Quest of the Jedi is the first time we see him and his Padawan, and they're chasing down one of the Echo Stones, and then he leaves her, and then he goes to this other planet to find that Jedi that has that. And then he also has another stone in his possession because he takes two of them to the planet.
You know who did go to Planet X was Obi-Wan. When he was a Padawan of oh my gosh, of when he was the Padawan of
Qui-Gon?
Qui-Gon's, yes, when he was Qui-Gon's Padawan, and he was feeling all upset because Qui-Gon kept leaving him alone, and he felt like, man, he's not training me. What am I gonna do? And he was like left all alone, and he found the writing behind the. Do you remember that book?
No, not at all.
He was left inside. Yeah, it's in one of the novels, and he found some writing behind the. There was like this big dresser, and he moved it, and it was Orla Jareni had left.
Was it a Legends book?
No. It's a canon book because Orla Jareni had it's a High Republic book. Orla Jareni had left writing on the wall behind a dresser, and Obi-Wan had seen it.
But the book you're referring to is canon that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were at Planet X?
Not Qui-Gon.
Where Obi-Wan was.
Yes. Obi-Wan. So, it's a comic. It's not a book. So, in this comic series, Obi-Wan moves the dresser, and he sees where Orla Jareni had left writing when she was a Wayseeker. And he follows the map directions to go to Planet X. Because since my master isn't here to train me, then he lets me alone to do my own stuff. And he goes into he takes a droid with him, and he goes into a starship, and he makes his way to Planet X.
Oh, that was in the Obi-Wan miniseries.
Yes, the Obi-Wan miniseries. Yes, a really good miniseries.
Because that followed like different phases of.
Yes.
Yeah. Man,
that's where he.
It's been a hot minute since I've read that.
It's a good one too, because he has his little like his teenage years where he starts like experimenting and making out with different people. His little teenage years. Little Obi-Wan. He's a little freak. Anyway, then we go on from issue number 2 to issue 3. Pathfinders in Peril. Jedi Knights Wreath Silas and Jedi Padawan Amadeo Azazo. So the Pathfinders aboard the Peace Light take a Jedi team on a journey to search for Master Vim. They find the mysterious planet but are tasked with releasing the rod, but it was booby-trapped. thus allowing the fighting peoples to stop their feuding once and for all. They attempt to discover what happened to the famous Jedi Barnabas Vim, who went missing decades earlier, and whose fate appears inexorably tied to the mysterious Echo Stones. Pretty
Did
cool.
they actually find what happened to Barnabas in this? I
No,
don't remember that. No.
no,
No.
no, because
Yeah.
this was this planet that they were on was a stop that he
Not
had
the last
made. It was
stop.
not the
Yeah.
final destination.
Right. It was just a stop. But it had the Varovians because there was like a feud between the Varovians and they had been fighting. It was like a forever war, right?
Yeah.
But once they had the Jedi had stopped it, right?
Well, it was kind of more like they found the rod,
Right.
and then the master was Cade.
Mm-hmm.
That was his last.
I think so.
And didn't realize that the crystal where the rod was being held was like booby trapped, so the whole mountain came down, essentially
it.
sealing it in. And so then that stopped the war because at that point there was quote unquote nothing to fight for.
Right. Right. But they told him that a Jedi would be back.
Mm-hmm.
So the Rovians were expecting them. So then when the Jedi did come back in the final issue, which is issue number 4, the hunt for the Rod of Ages unearthed. In this final tale,
Yes.
Master Comac, Amadeo, and Wreath travel back to the planet to try and unearth the rod buried beneath the rubble, booby trapped so long ago by the Pathfinder team they learned about in the archive. When they arrive, they are greeted by the Varovians, who are grateful to have been rid of the rod that had plagued them. They are successful in finding the Rod of Seasons and also a
Rod of
droid.
Ages.
Oh, the Rod of Ages.
Rod of Ages. Rod of Seasons is in possession of the Nile.
The Nile. Yes, the Rod of Ages. Also a droid who was rescued, but they took just his head. Right? Which is like, why didn't they rescue the whole droid?
All they needed was the head.
They just wanted a little head.
Well, remember, they did that in the Bad Batch. They just rescued the head.
They just wanted, in Star Wars, they just want the head.
So it's where all the information's stored.
I'm really, really glad they brought in Kovac. He's one of my favorites from
Comac?
Phase 1.
He's cool.
Yeah.
He's cool.
He's
cool.
I really like these characters, the dynamic Comac and Silas. I've always
I
had.
thought Silas Wreath was there. Little cameo from Nestra.
Yeah.
With hair.
So
it was cool too. It was cool. It was cool to show how they each might have been the ones to get it, like how they might have had been the one, like Neo, right, in the Matrix,
Yeah.
but really it was Wreath, and the way that he was able to do it was because he didn't give in. I don't know how to explain it.
He saw the Kyber mirror, right? And he didn't flinch when he saw the different destinies or something like that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
That's where he says that I choose none of these. The Force will always guide me.
Correct.
It was very much kind of like a Harry Potter thing.
Comac couldn't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Comac couldn't say that. That's why he said, "Reeve, you have to do this."
Right. And it also tied into the novel, because remember in the novel, because I think in the novel later when he's an adult, because he's the one that is he's the one that's talking to, who's the one that has no eyeballs? Who's the one that ripped out his eyeballs?
Oh, I don't.
The one that Yoda brought back.
Yeah, the one that Yoda brought back.
I remember.
Can't remember.
That's much later. Much later, right? That's much later.
I think they had the same.
No, the one that Yoda brought back, I could have swore that was that was earlier. Because that was in the comics, right? We
Yes.
saw it in the comics. I want to say that wasn't that phase 2? Or very beginning of this phase?
But he's the one that he ripped out his eyes because he's the
Yeah.
only one that survived the Nameless.
Right.
But
I remember it.
he touched the
But
dark side.
I want to say that might have been in the Marvel main book, but that might have been like within the first couple issues.
Isn't it Aslan or what is it?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm struggling to find it, but yeah. It's too many characters in Star Wars at this point to easily
there are
search
too many.
something.
I know there are too many.
But yeah, I'm really glad they brought in. They had a story for Wreath and Comac again. Their adventures have always been probably some of my favorites. Vernestra are always great, so I'm really glad they brought them back. Give them their last adventure together, pretty much. I'm assuming they're probably going to play a part in the. I think it's called Trials of the Jedi, the last one. I cannot remember the last book, but
Yeah, Trials of the Jedi.
They'll play a part in it, but they're not going to have like their own adventure like they did here. So, kind of a swan song, starting to wrap it up. But obviously, this is going to be a big piece of it. So that they could fight the Nameless with Skier. They can fight the Nameless with like Barry Yaga and overcoming fear, and now they can fight the Nameless with this too. So they got multiple ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trials of the Jedi is going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be bittersweet.
I know.
But yeah.
Can't wait. So there you have it, folks.
George Mann is probably my favorite writer, at least in comic books when it comes to this.
He's good.
Yeah, he's a
definitely
good one. I wish I had met him in person when we were at Seasons of the Force at Disneyland.
They were all over the place.
So close.
But you were at work, remember? You couldn't leave early.
Yes, that's right. I was at work.
Couldn't leave early.
I was at work.
You shouldn't be following them on Instagram when you're at work because it's just gonna make you want to visit. Go.
I know.
All right, what do we think of these? I absolutely love these. I thought it was great. The artwork was great. The storytelling was great, and it's a great way to ramp up to the end. I think I am giving this 5 holocrons.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What?
The artwork was great. I love these characters. I love the old Sith storyline and the Borg sphere. The Borg sphere they had in the beginning. I just loved it all. Really great. Brought us back to some phase 2 storytelling, phase 1 storytelling. Really great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So definitely one of my favorites.
Yep. Brycey?
I'm a John. I absolutely love these things. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out that Jedi's name. That's why I'm distracted because it's now going to bother
Aslan.
me.
His name is Aslan.
Is it?
Aslan. The one who took out his eyes?
You sure?
I type in Aslan and it shows some guy without eyes. Azlin. Aslan Rail.
Yes.
Oh,
Aslan Rel.
okay. All right. Fair.
Oh, and he had the head of the Aslan Rel. Mm-hmm.
He had the head of a droid?
Yes, Aslan
No.
Rel. Yep. How many holocrons? Reef.
I said it was with John. I said it was with Jonathan.
5?
Mm-hmm.
Mike, are you gonna be the one that breaks the?
He will. That's fine. You
I
do
don't know if
your
you've
job.
done 15 holocrons before.
You know what?
What are your nitpicks? What are your nitpicks? Do you have any?
It is a jackpot today, everyone. You know what? It's gonna be 5 holocrons. 5 holocrons. Bring on the holocrons.
It's great. Great writing.
Bring on all the holocrons. This is, you know what?
The art was great.
Artwork is fantastic. This is like some of the best artwork ever. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The writing is good. It's the story is great. I love reading all 4. I couldn't stop reading them. It's
you know
really
what?
good.
it was nice, good read after that disaster we read before the
Oh,
annual. God,
yes,
those short stories, quick stories, corny stories
I
are rough.
know. They
And
were
this
rough.
is just, I mean, maybe that's why I liked it more. But I really, really enjoyed this. So, yeah,
I
definitely
mean, the
one.
annual wasn't that bad. That bad.
It
Not
was
that bad.
rough. Oh my
It
God,
was
he's
rough, but not
choking
that
on a
bad.
frog. It was bad.
I like the annual, but this was
It
really
was bad
good.
writing.
Oh,
Yeah.
This
this
was
is a
really
lot
good.
better.
This was really good. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. So do yourself a favor, read Echoes of Fear. You're gonna enjoy it.
The other thing I can tell is this is going to supplement the final book, because in the final book, I'm sure this is going to come play somewhat, and so people are going to be like, where did Wreath come with this glowing rod? It's glowing rod.
Why that droid head is gonna be important.
Yeah, without giving any
The data, yeah, it's gonna
information
be
now.
important. Yep.
Yeah. So does the Nihil have 2 rods now, and they have 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought you assembled all the pieces to make 1 rod. I didn't know there's actually multiple different rods till this too. So it kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pay some bills. Oh, let's do this one first. Hyperspace Props, the official sponsor of the Not So Virtual Cantina Special Edition in Japan. Pre-order your critics and cosplay props at www.hyperspaceprops.com. Use code NSVCSE for 10% off.
As you're watching this, John and I are in Japan.
Oh yeah,
at
we're gonna be in Japan.
celebration.
Yeah, it's we'll be
Right.
playing some Sabak probably. So it's gonna be fun. Let's start this one. Be sure you're following us on YouTube at Virtual Cantina Network, on Instagram at virtual.cantina network, on X at Cantina Virtual, on Threads at virtual.cantina network, on Hive at Virtual Cantina, and on TikTok, the TikTok at Virtual Cantina. And you know what? We need to add the website to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get the website added to the ticker. Be sure you follow the Star
Oh,
Show
yeah, we do.
Japan 2025 Facebook page where it all started.
So you can read all about one of our founders of the Virtual
We can read
Cantina.
about all the team.
About Jonathan, one of our founders.
You can read about the whole team. All right. I guess final thoughts. I guess we already did that, right? All right. Thank you for watching. See you guys in a couple weeks.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.